Alright, hello everybody. This little video. Remember I used to make drone videos? Well, here's another one. I've rekindled my love for drones, but I'm really only making this video as a little message, and the fact that you shouldn't push your drones out too far, especially when you don't have confidence in the fact that they will come back. Now, in this video, you're going to see me push my drone out to about 1,300 or 13,000 feet. That is pretty far away, beyond visual line of sight, but who's gonna enforce that for now? So I decided to push it as far as I could, and I got to about as far as I could, as far as I could in terms of being comfortable with it. And I even returned to home when it automatically returned to home. But in this video, you will see that I get the critically low battery alert, and the drone decides to force a landing on me. And it forces a landing in a giant field that I hope wasn't private property, because I went into the field and I got my drone back. But it was right behind a massive electrical company that deals with most of the power and water and stuff like that for homes here in my town. They have a large field behind them that isn't gated up or anything, so I figured this shouldn't be private property. And it was so close to where I live anyway that I figured, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna get it. I'm gonna get this thing. And that's what I did. So I went in there and I got my drone. I found it, not even using the GPS on the thing, because I didn't bring my phone with me. I remembered exactly where it went down at, and I located the drone based on the last image I had in my mind of watching that thing slowly descend into a pile of bushes. And yeah, so here you can see me just going through it. I'm probably going to speed up the video in here, make sure you do that in editing later. And so this is about my peak right here. I'm zooming in on this building. I forget why. I was just like, oh, look at that. I think, oh yeah, this is a restaurant I go to. Just wanted to see how it was doing in terms of business. And basically, I get the alert, and I'm like, okay, well, I could just do the return to home manual. I could do the return to home, let it do its thing, because it says I should have enough I should have enough battery to get home, so I trust it. But I notice something. I notice that it's starting to say, hey, strong wind warning. Aircraft is unable to return home manually. So I start a manual return to home, and that's when things get even worse, because when you're combining the strength of the winds with, putting all the force you can onto it, pushing the sticks down as hard as you can, those propellers are doing a lot to compensate for that wind, which means the drone is using a lot more power. And I didn't notice that until it started to get relatively close to my house, and I noticed, like, oh hey, I just watched 4% go down in like 5 seconds. That's a little worrying. So definitely not the greatest day to decide to fly again, because it's literally been months since I got this thing out and flown. I decided to recharge the batteries up today. Maybe the batteries are reaching the end of their lifespan. Maybe they just don't have a lot of life left in them. I don't know, but I feel like this is pretty typical for a flight of mine. I've never gone that far before. And about 15 to 20 minute flight is usually the amount of time I get, especially when I'm flying in normal or sport mode. And yeah, so I'm gonna skim through this a little bit more, and so I'm gonna speed it. Hopefully I speed it up in the editing. And right about here is when the drone stops completely, and I get the critically low battery alert. And in all my time of flying, I've never seen this, because I've always been extremely careful with my drone. I never make sure to push it out too far, but I decided to get a little cocky. So now I'm going to get the other video that was recorded. For some reason the drone decided to record its entire descent and crash. So now it's just sitting here hovering, and I'm still controlling it at this point, freaking out like, okay, where the fuck is this going to land? And I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to eke it just a little bit to the left so it doesn't land in the parking lot of this business. And it doesn't. I get it to land in this field over here. And I didn't really pay attention because I thought those brown patches were just grass. Turns out they were like dead bushes and stuff. So we're going to speed it up here. And as you can see, this is when I let go, because I'm already on the road. I'm already heading for this thing to go and save it. So I have no idea that these are actually like large dead bushes that it's just going to descend into. As you can see, it tries to land, and the thing's like, oh god, no, this isn't gonna work. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, here's some lawn. Here, let's just mow the lawn a little bit. Let's cut these bushes up a little bit. And it's just cutting the bushes. It's cutting the bushes. The drone's just like, fuck it, I give up, and there it goes, falls to the ground, gives up. And that was it. It stood there for another 4 minutes. Unfortunately, you don't get to see me recovering the thing because the drone died before I got to recover it. I feel like it died like it died like probably like 30 seconds before I got there, because there's no way it took me about 5 minutes to get to where this was at. And yeah, so that's about it. That was the first time I've ever had to recover a drone after losing one. I've never lost a drone before. I've lost cheap toy drones before, but never a DJI drone. I've always been real careful with them. But today, I guess I felt a little cocky. And yeah, that's it. That's my drone. My first forced landing and recovery. Honestly, I feel like every drone pilot at some point is going to have to do a recovery of their drone. And I'm kind of proud of myself for the amount of time for the length of time it took for me to have my first recovery. But yeah, the drone's fine. At least I think it's fine. I'm probably going to take it out in a minute and fly it again just to make sure everything's okay on it. It didn't look like anything was scratched or broken or scuffed, but we will see. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I got the drone back. I hope you enjoyed watching. Peace out. Like, subscribe. Thank you very much.